beat or not to beat? That is the question that was plaguing the minds of many parents during the 1940s and 50s. Today on One and a Half News, we take our time to document the profound change that one single man, the father of child rearing, Benjamin M. Spock, had on the manner of how children are treated today. Benjamin Spock was born in New Haven in 1903 and grew up to study medicine at Columbia University. He received his degree and began practicing pediatrics in New York City while teaching the subject at Cornell University.
In 1946, Benjamin Spock became known for writing the book, Dr. Spock's Baby and Child Care, selling roughly 50 million copies. At the time, this was surpassed only by the Bible. This book was a major influence on the way parents would go on to treat their children as they grew up. According to a Gallup poll conducted in 1954, more than 70% of Americans agreed in the 1940s that it is sometimes necessary to discipline a child with a good hard spanking. The poll encapsulated a variety of terms for punishment, some of which were beating, shellacking, spanking, use of the strap or stick, and other forms of physical discipline. There were strict feeding schedules for infants and discouraged open displays of affection between a parent and a child during this time. Spock, by contrast, encouraged understanding and flexibility on the part of the parents, and he stressed the importance of listening to children and appreciating their individualistic differences. For the first time, there really were answers to their questions about raising children. Until then, pediatricians used intuition when it came to behavioral or developmental issues, or just plain out ignored them. Spock's book allowed parents to feed their babies when the babies cried, not according to an arbitrarily imposed doctor's schedule. He was attempting to reassure parents to be more natural. As time progressed, the contentious political climate of the 60s led to Spock facing severe backlash. He devoted himself full-time to the anti-war movement, which eventually led to his trial and conviction for counseling draft evasion, a conviction that was overturned on appeal. In 1972, he was the presidential candidate of the Pacifist People's Party, and he passed away peacefully in 1998.
Okay, would you welcome Dr. Benjamin Spock?
Mr. Spock, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show today. Now, can I just ask, for you to clarify, what exactly is child rearing?
Well, child rearing is when a parent trusts themselves and to use common sense. It is strictly against strict discipline. Rather, parents should gently lead their children to where they should go. But children should be polite and cooperative while still being able to explore their boundaries.
Okay, and how does the physical mistreatment of children affect both them and their parents as the children develop?
Well, when a parent strikes, yells, or even screams at a child, they go down to their level. Thus, respect is necessary, but it will never be found if you just strike or shout at your child when you go down to their level.
Now, later on in your life, as you published more books, you changed your opinion on something called demand feeding. Is that correct? And could you please elaborate on that for us?
Yes, I did. When seeing the techniques that were used, I began to advise parents not to apply this demand feeding, as I believe it sets too little of a precedent, and it just allows a child to be too freelance. That's why I believe that there should be strict rules that children should adhere, while no punishment should be put on these children.
Dr. Benjamin Spock emerges not just as a pioneer in pediatric care, but as a guide for generations of parents. His words continue to have an impact, reminding us that love, empathy, and adaptability are the cornerstones of raising resilient and compassionate individuals. As we navigate the complexities of nurturing young minds, Dr. Spock continues to hold a powerful legacy, steering us towards a future where every child is embraced with understanding, and every parent is empowered with confidence, and every generation is inspired to foster a world full of boundless possibilities.